Recording is on.
Okay, great. Great. Thanks for turning the recording on because that will capture our screens, which is important. So, yeah, go ahead, Ab.
Okay. We'll go ahead and get started. Not too much on the agenda today. We'll wait on Salam's update in hopes that he can join us. But we've been working on the flow of donation activity. Do you want to follow? Do you want to do the donation activity or the meta ads?
Let's talk about the meta ads first in hopes that Salam joins us because it's critical for him to understand and know as well.
The donation. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess my first question is I've been trying to run some media ads on Facebook for not only the giving event that's going on right now, which is why August isn't here. Salam, welcome.
Thank you.
Salam, were you able? A quick question: are you on Starlink as Benny is, or have you not had a chance to set it up yet?
Yes, I have received it, but I've not had a chance to set it up yet.
Oh, okay, that's good. I just wanted to know. Okay, great. But you do have the unit, and Benny has it, and I believe Benny's been using it. We used it with the meeting for him yesterday, and he's using it now, right, Benny?
Yeah, that's what I'm currently using.
Okay, great. So that should be working for you good, Salam, when you do get around to setting it up in the near future. I just wanted to talk just for a minute about the Facebook ads and the giving event that's going on right now. So the giving event that's going on is the music festival in the Chicago, Illinois area. Everybody is aware of it. We've been working very hard on it. I've been trying to run some ads around the post in Facebook and trying to understand a little bit about this ads platform, which in my opinion is very complicated. And so my first question goes out to Megan and Benny. Do either of you have experience with Facebook ads, or whether that's the training? I think Benny, you'd mentioned some training or just doing that. Do either of you have experience with that?
Yeah, I mentioned of looking through some courses, but for now I've not had any content that is well enough to get good experience from.
I'm sorry, Benny, you're a little bit quiet. Is there a chance you could speak up?
Well, hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'm saying that is my voice so a bit low?
Sorry, it's just you're not cutting out at all. Your voice is just very low, at least for us. And we have our volume all the way up. I don't know if you could maybe get closer to the mic or.
Okay, if the mic on mute, let me switch the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is better now.
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. So I'm saying that I mentioned the last time I wanted to look through some courses related to that because it's really a bit complicated. But I've not had any content yet that I've gone through that would give me so much experience. So currently, I do not have any so much experience with the ads.
Okay, but you did go through a course at least to understand, etc.
Yes, it's a basic course.
Okay,
so,
great.
Yeah, it's a basic course about social media marketing. So they touch a little bit on running ads, but not in depth. So I'm looking at getting a course just dedicated to ads specifically. Yeah.
Okay, great. And Megan, do you have any experience with that?
Not with that specific platform, with the Meta app. I was honestly, Benny, if you find anything that is super helpful, I would love to take a look and learn more about it. I just don't have a lot of personal experience with it.
Okay, great. Yeah, Benny. So if you do find some courses or whatever, and you could drop those in Discord, that would be great.
All right, sure, I will.
Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my display right now. So that you can see what it is I've done and yeah, we can comment on it or try to figure it out. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, great. So this is essentially the insight from the ads that I ran. So I ran ads on different posts, not really based on the Facebook recommendations, but based on kind of my intuition as to the markets that we want to target and what it is they want. I think we have to be careful when we run Facebook ads because they are very good at getting a lot of views to you, but maybe not relevant views. And so, for example, this ad for these music festivals, we're targeting an audience that was based in. I'm sorry, I don't have it up here. Like I said, I'm not very good. These are the ads that I ran, and so these were targeting engagement in our increasing the number of likes and people following our pages. So I ran the one against our reel today for the giving event that's happening in Illinois, in the U.S. I ran one that's still active because it seemed to explain a lot about our organization. And this was the podcast ad. I ran one for Salam and his website introduction, if you will. And that did really well. And then I ran some more with the music, two more with the music, and one with regards to the drilling that we did recently. And that Benny posted on our blog site as well as our social media. So this is looking at essentially. I'm going to try to get it here. Hold on. This overview. So basically, I ran here's what I did. I ran like $40 worth of ads as of today, and our views have gone. We've gotten essentially 148,000 views. We've reached 100,000 people. We've had 1,800 interactions and 170 more followers. And so to me, that's pretty amazing numbers. Those are good results based on the little knowledge that I have about how to use the ad and target markets. So I think what I found is that people are liking what we're doing. And so, they're liking the outreach that we're doing through the giving event. They're liking our posts. I'm going to try to see here really quick. If I can get, so these were the trends. So what we have is of the 344 followers, they primarily are in the age group of 25 to 44, let's say. A bigger 75% of them are men, where 25% are women. Our current followers, we have 75% of them in the country of Ghana, 10% in the United States, and 3.8% in Mexico. And those are the areas that I targeted in my audience. So my audience targets essentially people in the country of Ghana, people in the country of the U.S., and people in the country of Mexico who are, and in the U.S. for the ads that were related to the Giving Event Project, the concert that's going on today, I targeted specifically the city and a 15-mile radius around the city, which includes all of Chicago. So that was a targeted ad because those are the people that are going to attend the concert hopefully today. And so, but you can see here, we definitely have interaction from Ghana, not only from Tamale, but from Accra Kamasi. We also have interaction from Loretto, 2.6, etc. So this is kind of our targeted age and our targeted countries. When you look at the trends, you can see we have some returning customers. Benny, I thought this was interesting for you. Based on the last 28 days, our most active time is right around noon, and that is PST time. So,
All right.
so that's kind of our targeted area for dropping new posts. Even though we drop posts more frequently than just once a week, if we're gonna kick something out, that would be one of the times. This time would be useful mostly throughout the day. Now that's.
I think that's about 7 o'clock your time.
Yeah, and that's
On
important
Sundays.
to keep in mind is that based on the demographics, that's really 7 o'clock for all of those people in the country of Ghana. And so as I was looking at this, I was trying to figure out, I clicked on benchmarking and I thought, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. They're going to benchmark our stuff based on other businesses in this category. And so our business is overall doing all right. We're in between the 50th and 75 percentile. I've only run $40 in ads. But when you look at where we are, sorry, I'm not sure if this is going to be. It's not. Yeah. Okay. So basically there's a lot here. And when you look at it, I feel like our overview shows that 148,000 views is definitely good. I would think for $40. I don't know.
Was this?
But
Is
if
it a
anyone
time
has
frame?
comments, please interact and interrupt. This kind of blew me away. This is like our potential audience based on how we've done this week. Sorry, this is not even the right ad account. I apologize, but this is the ad account for Give Basic Needs. This won't change, but basically, they're saying our audience size is around 20, almost 30 million people.
But I think it's not this weekend,
Right.
right? Or is that
Right. So this is
date?
this is kind of like a projected audience. I think what's important are the demographics and the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing with this platform. Although I'm running some ads and I've tried to kick some things around, I really don't have a strategy and I need help. This is a real a thing that Megan or Benny, if you guys could take over and manage for us as an organization, that would be amazing. Like I said, when I click on ads, these are the things that I'm doing. I've paused Salam. So 1 second. So here, this is interesting. So the top content by views, Salam, you're the hero with 115,000 views. And essentially 388 people have commented and 716 likes and 30 shares. So you're amazing, Salam. You're our superhero of the week. And I just wanted to share that. But then behind, if you look at, like, this is our drilling project that Benny just did, it's already seen 14,000 views, over 21 comments, and 413 reactions. Then we have Abby at 1,000. This was the event that was taking place. This was the podcast at 287 views. And then and so this is looking at a lot of different information. And when you look at the thing that I was trying to look at with the actual ads themselves, because if you look here, you can see, I believe, by platform, Ay, ay. I'm not sure if this isn't going to tell me what I wanted. There's a way to do results. Okay, results, not a goal. It's not there. Audience. It's not there. Content. There is a way in this wonderful tool to show, and I don't know why. Hold on. See if this is all showing me the same things. Yes. If I click on this ad, engagements, views, feed. This is just about boosting. Again, I'm not sure, but what I saw in the insight was that is what we see are that US users tend to be more Instagram users and followers. And this is something that I think we knew, but by just kind of playing with these ads and testing things out, we can see that when it comes to Instagram, the focus is more in the US. And when it comes to Ghana and Mexico, the focus is more Facebook. And so I think it's important that we target those areas, maybe not exclusively, but we're aware of those when we start running ads about content, that we know how to push this content in those different directions. And it was interesting too, because even in the country of Ghana, the males tended to be bigger users on Facebook, but in Ghana, the Instagram users tended to be lean more towards the females. So I guess is what the bottom line is that Facebook Meta Ad Center, or whatever you want to call it, is quite complicated. And if we're going to run ads and be productive, I think is what we can see the potential is here. When we look at what I did with essentially $40, I got 170 followers, which is good as long as those continue to get in front of people. And I don't know if we're doing those things, but I know that our content of the actual borehole being drilled was productive. Salam was productive. So I just want to open it up to everybody. I'm going to stop sharing right now at this moment. And I want to go around and ask, first of all, Megan, did she glean anything out of what I said, or is she more confused now than when I started?
No, what you said makes sense. I think it definitely is good that it confirms that most of the US target audience is on Instagram, and then like Mexico and Ghana is all in Facebook. So it kind of gives us a better idea to target things depending on what we're sharing. But I think it was good of like how much exposure that you got just off of the amount that you invested into it. So it kind of shows the strengths that we can play.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that I noticed, Megan, was that I was able to run. So there's, I don't know, they use certain terms like to define engagement. One was like pay per click. And is what I found is that, for example, the borehole drilling post that Benny did, it was taking like literally a tenth of a cent to get people engaged. And then when it came to other posts, obviously it took more, but not more than 26 cents per engagement. So it seems like in Ghana, at least, and maybe this is Mexico and maybe this is everywhere, I can't get my head around the data. It seems like there are clearly opportunities to run very low value ads and the ability to engage a lot of people. And so I think if I was looking at it just from a business standpoint, I'd say give me the best content that gets in front of the most people for the least cost. And so if you're telling me I can get in front of somebody for 1/10 of a cent, I'll run that ad. I'll run that ad for 365 days a year until that's no longer true. So that's really what I wanted to see, was like, okay, just overall, generally, is this something we should be doing to create happy in the world? And I think when we look at engagement at 1/10 of a cent or even a cent, that's a no-brainer to me. Like those should just be run. What are your thoughts on that, Megan? Is that like overly, is it because I just started running ads? Like, is this how should we evaluate the little information that I gleaned from this test of running ads?
Oh. I mean, I think that you're right in that like any exposure is good exposure in that way. That definitely we need to, like, me and Benny should learn more about it, of how to better play towards some of the like demographic information and how we can kind of structure it to be more effective. But if
Right.
it's that much, if it's already that efficient for the amount that we've already invested, I think that it's going to be a useful tool no matter what.
Right. And I think the point that I see here with and we're going to go into this a little bit in the next slides that I created about the donation flow and things, is that, again, I think is what the group needs to remind themselves of, is that Facebook ads are only there to generate happy. And so if people are looking at our content and liking it, that means they like it. And so I count that as like valuable investment for creating happy in the world. They're not there to seek donations. They're not there to do anything other than essentially create followers, who then create more followers, who create more likes, who create more happy. And I think that's the motto that we came up with, Megan, as far as the last time that we talked with the Presidu, is that that's really the point of these Facebook ads, is that we're here to generate happy, not seek donations or drive people to conferences or sell product merchandise. None of that. It's really just about getting them to like. So I guess I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the right page with that, Megan, as far as how you see it going forward with the marketing, if things like Facebook ads or Google ads or any ads for that matter.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that having it kind of like a two-pronged approach of using this, like you said, for spreading happy and also getting more exposure to the organization is a good long-term strategy, where we're learning about who our audience is, where we're reaching them with the best amount of exposure, and then kind of how to play to that strength to keep growing. Well, on the other side, but it's not specifically for donations, like you said, or anything like on the financial aspect. It's purely just about spreading who we are as a brand. And then on the other side, the more short-term strategy for like the actual finances is what we're doing in Ghana with the grants.
Right. Great. Thanks for confirming that. And while I got you off mute, Danny, what's your input on what it is you saw and what it is we're discussing?
I think it's good. I think it can help to spread the word about the organization. But like you said, it's not really directing the people to anything in particular.
Right. And I think that's why when I was looking at some of it, it surprised me, but it shouldn't have, is that the pictures of us drilling boreholes that Salam took were exactly what seemed to be exactly what the people wanted to see. Like, they want to see us doing things. Yes, we're advertising for an upcoming giving event in the US, our first music festival, but they want to really see the impact that we're having. And I think that's where the happy comes. So that's good feedback. Daniel, do you have anything else? Is that what you got?
That's what I got.
Okay. And let's go to Benny. What do you think, Benny, on what it is I discussed and what I showed with the few dollars that I used? I mean, if you do the math, and you take $40 divided by a like, if you will, by 170, I basically paid a quarter for every like on our Facebook page or our Instagram site. Which, is that a good use of money? I don't know. That's for the group to for the group to discuss and for the president to decide. But Benny, what are your thoughts on what it is I showed and where it is Megan commented on and where you think we are?
Yes, I don't know if that was set during the setting up of the ad. I don't have much knowledge, but I know that at a point they ask if you are looking at getting more followers or you are looking at directing people to the website. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
So
it's a
this
good question. So I actually in the testing, I actually split the ads up. And so some of the ads, I don't know if we can see it here. I apologize again. I don't know how to use this damn thing. Oh, I'm not sharing.
Yeah.
But sorry. So as what I did was, for example, the ad that was for the podcast that explains our organization, our new website, etc., that was targeted at driving people to givebasicneeds.org. The other ones were targeting followers, and that was like Salam's post. That was like targeting people that already like the page and people who aren't already liking the page, or however they say it. Basically, like if I like the page and Abby doesn't, then Abby sees the ad. If Abby and I are friends. And so it was a mix of some of the posts were trying to push people to the website, which honestly, Megan can confirm with me here. We don't really care if people go to the website. We really care about followers on social media that like our content, if we're not seeking direct donations and we're not trying to sell swag. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that's correct. I saw it more as just getting a bigger audience to where when we do spread information like giving events or anything like that, it can be recognized to more people, but not specifically for buying merch or anything like that. Just more just spreading who we are and what we're doing.
Right. So I guess to Benny's point, going forward, we should really only have in the most general state, we should only be trying, because this is about creating happy and social media is where people are. We should only be using the ads to increase our followers on social media, not necessarily pushing them to the website to look at maps or those things. Those things can be interlaced later on, but right now we're just trying to increase our following to get our brand recognition out there and to get people so that when we do post, they can see our content about events and that. Does that sound right?
Yeah, okay. That's great. Yes, so one thing I'll be interested in for us to try to is maybe after we post a video, we can try and add on it to see how it goes too. Because I know most people like to engage more with videos, and the videos actually give a complete summary of what we are doing. So maybe when we, after an event that are yet to come, if we post a video on YouTube, then we run the ads, we can check the data to see how that performs too. But what has been put up already, I think that is great. The results is great. And yesterday someone asked me here that our organization has sent our ads on Facebook, and I said yes, we've started running some ads. So
Oh,
I think,
really?
yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so I think it's yielding results. So we would learn more and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's great. And if you two could come up to speed and kind of be our 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 guidance. I just have been doing it. I don't know. Just to confirm, Benny, do you have access to run an ad today with Abby's credit card on the account?
Okay, I don't. Anytime I make a post, I'm being given a notice if I want to run an ad, but I've never passed that stage, so I don't know if if I attempt to run an ad, if it will go through.
Okay, because I think you do have it. Yeah,
would
but
think
and it's
so.
good that you wait and confirm that we actually have a strategy. I was just kind of doing some testing and playing for my own edification, if you will, and trying to boost the attendance at August's event. So it's good that I think you can do that. Megan, were you to the point where you were able to run ads as well?
I still wasn't able to get access. I tried to look through my email for the notification for signing up,
Uh-huh.
but I wasn't able to get it.
Okay, so I will work on that. I'll take the action item to work with you probably just in WhatsApp or whatever to make sure that you have access to the Give Basic Needs page, both Instagram and Facebook, and that you have full permission to run ads. And that should give you some insight and allow you to look at the data that we do have out there from the samples that I did. I did create 2 audiences. Again, I'm not letting, so I understand enough about technology that I know there are essentially what are called click farms. And these are people who are not interested in your site at all. And essentially all they do is they're hired to go through and essentially click on content, and they run like multiple displays, multiple clicks simultaneously, and they will eat through your ad budget with very little results. So I'm not letting Facebook put the ad where they want to put it. I'm putting it in the countries of the US, in the countries of Mexico, in the country of Ghana. And then if we want to add demographics like someone who already likes my site, then that limits them to somebody has to like it before they can essentially eat up those ad dollars. And so these click farms are very big, especially in developing countries. These people get paid essentially to go through and click through and eat up this ad money. So it's really important that we nail down the audience. And if and when you, well, I should say, when you get access to it, you'll see the audiences that I've created, and we can discuss those in the future. So, Megan, I'm going to work with you on getting you the Give Basic Needs pages and making sure that you can see all that, and then you can kind of work with Benny and myself to take this course or whatever Benny's going to come up with to try to figure out where we should go and what we want to do with this ad money, again, to just create happy.
Okay, no, that's perfect. And it also kind of just gives me an idea where I can click around and get used to the different terminologies and stuff. So that's perfect.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I was just looking at it from like a dollar standpoint. Like, how much did it take to get it in front? And when I saw it was like 1/10 of a cent, I'm like, I'll be running this all day long, every day until this organization ceases to exist, because that's almost free exposure. I mean, it doesn't get much cheaper than that. So we'll definitely look at some of the numbers and hopefully are able to come up with some reports. And please share that when you get a minute. But it is interesting, Benny. I'm really happy that the ad got in front of someone that talked to you.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. I did something right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good job. Well, I think kind of running on the back of that, we wanted to go over the flow of donation activity, because we did have a meeting, a check-in with Salam, and we were coordinating and thinking about, in the broader perspective with him in his new role, what does that mean? How are we going to solicit donations, and what does that look like in Ghana? And so Kevin made up this donation flow chart that he's going to go over with us.
Yeah. So can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. So is what this is just, this is based on the charter that Megan set out, and the president and myself as well, as how it is we were going to expand and grow the organization going forward, and how we should solicit donations, whether that was through swag, etc. So the first thing that you'll see are these green boxes. So that, and this is the priority for obtaining funding. Salam, you can see this okay?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So this is working with Salam. He said that there are essentially these grant funding consultants. And these individuals essentially work as off of a percentage. So if they obtain a grant and present it to the they work on the communication and management of expectations to this grant and funding coordinator position that we hope to fill in the future. We've written the job description. I've posted it in some places. We're not sure when that actual hiring will take place. We're thinking maybe closer to the end of the year. We've gotten a lot done this year, but we still have a conference coming up, and we need to do some more strategic planning to figure out how to fill that. But essentially, this is a new role in the organization, and the board of directors, as well as the president, has identified this as how we grow forward, is by having this grant and funding coordinator position filled. But essentially, this grant and fundraising coordinator interacts with individuals primarily as a highest priority with these grant funding consultants that exist in the country of Ghana. And is what they do, correct me if I'm wrong, Salam, is essentially they learn about our organization, then they go through and do all of the searches for the opportunities that are available in Ghana for grants. And then they say, I think you're a candidate for this grant. Here's how much it is. Here's what the deliverables are. Are you interested? And this grant and funding coordinator then takes that information to the president and myself as the CFO and says, and then obviously works with Salam on the ground when it comes to managing expectations and deliverables. And collaboratively, we decide, is this grant something we want to take on? If it is something, let's say it's a $100,000 grant, then those funds would come into the organization and be managed by Give Basic Needs, this grant and funding coordinator, as well as the communication back out to the grantor, the individual giving the grant, regarding reporting and status updates. If it was, for example, to put 10 boreholes in northern Ghana, and they would report quarterly, let's say, or quarterly, that the number of boreholes that have been put into service, and then also the documentation, the video, the proof of effort, etc. Those things would then be shared as part of a report given back not to these consultants, but to the actual individual organization giving the grant. And these grant consultants who did essentially this grant discovery process and presentation of the information to the president and the organization would take a percentage of the grant. So let's say that there was $100,000 involved, maybe they take 1%. And so that's how they make their money. So in working with Salam, talking to the president, talking to Megan, etc., we've decided that this is our top priority for funding the organization and growing the organization, is working with grant funding consultants in the country of Ghana. And in doing so, this is directly related to a project. What's the number of project that is? 61?
Yeah.
Project 61, which has to do with the establishment of mobile money payments in the country of Ghana. For that to take place, we have to have a bank account that's denominated in Ghana Cedi, which is their local fiat currency, and then those dollars can come in. Now, Salam has mentioned that he's seen these consultants obtain grants in the millions of dollars from places like the UK, from places all over the globe. So these are like the reach is global, because these grant funding consultants have the ability to search a database of grants for organizations like the World Health Organization, UNICEF, etc., that want to do things in the country of Ghana, and they're looking for individual nonprofits already doing the work to partner with. And so some of these grants can be in the millions of dollars, from what I understand what Salam said. And so we're not anticipating $1 million grant. Would it be amazing? Of course. But right now, we just feel that this is our top priority for growing the organization in Ghana and beyond, because once we have this model, we can reproduce it in other countries. And that's our hope. So then essentially, this grant and fundraising coordinator will work with the Give Basic Needs C-suite to make decisions about how to move forward. There'll be an internal giving event project. This would be, if it was in Ghana, this would be something that Salam would set up as the director of operations and support. He would work with the program assistant if he wasn't the program assistant to actually execute the project. And then there would be a component that Benny currently has that has to do with the content creation, compliance, and engagement manager. That's what essentially Benny does for the entire organization. So these are internal functions. This is the management level that's going to make the decision on whether we accept them. And this is the communication exec and expectation management component within our organization that's going to work with these types of funding activities. And so this is our top priority. And then our second priority would be what Salam referred to our local commission projects. So these are essentially maybe I'm stretching here, but I'll use it as an example, and Salam can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is the country of Ghana saying we want to put 10 boreholes in. This is not a grant that's coming from the global society as a whole, but this is local commission projects. And so these could be funded through sectors of the local Ghana government to do things in the areas of food, shelter, and medical, which is our focus. And so this is our second priority for outreach, and we would be looking for those efforts to also be coordinated by the grant and funding coordinator as we try to figure out if we can bring these grants or these funding opportunities into the organization to grow. Then the director of supportive operations is going to interact, obviously, with the grant communities, the commissioned communities, and then the random communities. So these are kind of interesting because we have grant communities that directly maps essentially to our grants, global grants. Then we have our commissioned communities. So these communities are the ones that are coming maybe from local government projects. And then we have our communities, which are random communities. And so this director of operations and support, Salam in Ghana, will be working with these types of communities to get all of the information this person needs to make sure that the communications is spot on and the management of expectations is handled. And then the other things that we're going to focus on is not just the global grant opportunities or the local commission projects, but estate donations. So estate donations are wealthy individuals who may be willing to donate parts of their estates or their entire estates to Give Basic Needs. And those would come in through the C-suite, as well as web donations and merchandise donations as the priority you see goes down. So this is why we're not really, these three on this side is why we're not interested in really driving donors or individuals to our website. While our website is the proof of our work and is amazing when people go to it, it shows exactly what we're doing. It explains exactly what we're doing. It's not the need is for donations is not the focus. The focus is going to be up here with grant funding, consultings, and local commission projects. Salam, how did I do?
Yes, so far so good.
So far, so good. Okay. Does anyone on the call have questions about this before I just go to the next slide and talk a little bit about the accounts? And then that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions about how we're going to grow the organization? This is how we're going to become a powerhouse for global change in the area of reducing suffering and creating a happy world. This is how we're going to do it. Does anybody have any comments or questions or doubts or things that we're clearly missing? Okay, if ever, go ahead, President.
That's okay. I would just say great job on this slide and putting everything together. Yeah, good job. I know you like your charts. You do them well.
Yeah, I have to do pictures. I'm a visual person. So yeah, so again, this is for Ghana. This is how we're going to execute it. And then hopefully we've talked with Salam about succession planning and how it is that we plan to grow outside of Ghana with his help into possibly other African countries or other countries like Mexico, Latin America, etc. So thank you for recognizing my effort, President. I appreciate that.
Of course, appreciate you.
Thank you. Okay, so the next slide just talks about the money piece of it. Okay, so this is the exact same picture with the purple boxes showing how we're going to do it when it comes to money. So we will have a CD, again, as the fiat currency in the country of Ghana. We'll have a CD account that local commission projects can fund and give us CD to execute these projects here. We have a CD account that global grant funding consultants can deposit into, which can fund these grant communities. We also have a US dollar wire account existing already that so Salam had mentioned that these grant funding consultants sometimes fund projects in US dollars. And there's a need to have a US dollar account that can be wired to. So for example, the example that he provided was a grant that came from the UK. And it was for $3 million and it was a US dollar wire. So we already have a US dollar wire because we're established in the US. So that's where those accounts will be able to be wired there. So these are all the things setting ourselves up to be able to grow in this way. So then over here, when it comes to state donations, we have wealthy Ghanaians who could donate their estates to our project. We have US dollar wires that can happen, and we have digital assets that can happen. All of those donations can come in with the exception of the CD account today, and that's something that Salam's going to give an update on. This CD account is the same one as here, It's just how essentially these groups will give us money, if you will, the transactional portion and why it's important. Then website donations will come in through US dollars, through Zephy, through credit cards, or will come through digital assets. And then finally, merchandise donations will come as US dollar, Zephy, credit card transactions for merchandise donations. So does anyone have any questions on how we plan to grow and how funds will be moved around the organization to complete our mission? I'm going to stop sharing really quick so that I can go back to the screen here and see. Benny, do you have any questions about what it is we're trying to do and how we're going to grow into a multi-billion-dollar organization?
Yeah, great presentation.
Thank you.
Yes. I only wanted to find out if these funding coordinators, or what name will we be referring them to? You mentioned that they would have a percentage.
So this is what Salam had mentioned to me, and he said that these individuals, I took down the slide, but let me go ahead and share it again really quick. The individuals, Salam, can you comment about how the global grant consultants would work?
Yes, so they operate just like freelancers, but when they agree with you to write a grant for you, either you have identified a grant as an organization and you want them to write it, or they have identified a grant that they think your organization is qualified for. you agree on the terms. They do not take payments upfront in most cases. But depending on the grants they are writing for and the amount involved, you agree on what percentage they would take when you win the grant. So it becomes like a cost to the organization for getting the grant. So instead of employing somebody, a grant writer, and paying the person every month, you could just use these people's services as and when the organization is going for a grant.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
And I think the key is that it's important to understand. Can you see my screen, everyone, or anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one thing that it's important to keep in mind, that this Give Basic Needs person who is a grant and funding coordinator, this could be someone who writes grants, but it also is a funding coordinator. So this is really managing all of the communications to these two groups and the expectations, managing the expectations of these groups and these grant communities potentially through the director of operations. So instead of this just saying Give Basic Needs grant writer, we're calling this the grant and funding coordinator, because they'll be working with these individuals who are actually writing the grants. Correct, Salam?
Yes.
Okay. Does that help, Benny?
Yes, that helps. Yeah.
So Salam, just really quick, let's say they take 1% of $1 million, which I'm happy to give up. Those dollars, then, do they come? When did they get paid? Do they get paid up front once the grant has been issued, or do they get it upon completion from Give Basic Needs?
Yes, they will get it upon completion from when the grant is awarded to Give Basic Needs. You pay them their fees, because
Okay.
mind you, they will be part of the process until you win the grant. They will write the grant. Sometimes they will have to, if the organization offering the grants require in-person presentation, they would have to go and do the presentation, defend the proposals, and get the grant for you. So they know every step of the way where the grant process is, and when it is paid, they are fully aware.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And so let's say that the grant was for $100, and they were to get 1%, so they were to get $1 of that grant. That's paid when the grant is given to Give Basic Needs. It's critical that Give Basic Needs can then make up that 1% through its internal funding, or is the 1% is written in as part of the grant and they get it then?
No, so they don't. So Give Basic Needs would do its internal arrangement to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So most of the grants define the amount that is available, and so they would design a proposal that is attractive for the issuer of the grant to give you the grant.
I see.
So
I see.
whether Presido is paying them from her pockets, or the organization's account, or whatever, all they care about is getting their money.
Right. And so
That
this
agreement will be reached before they actually proceed to pursue the grants for you.
right. So they find the grant, and the grant is for $100. They say they want 1%. Essentially, we get awarded the grant, hopefully, for $100. We give them $1 or 1%, and then we have to execute the entire grant proposal with $99.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So that's perfect, because these are dollars that we have essentially for doing projects anyway. So to be able to get additional funding through these grant consultants in my mind, seems like a no-brainer. Okay, so that was Benny. Do you have any more, Benny?
No, please. I think that's well in depth with what Salam just explained. It's very clear.
Okay, great. How about Danny and Megan? Do you guys have questions about this?
No, I think we got it.
Okay.
Perfect. Yep.
And do you feel that this is the proper way to grow if you put your board member hat on, Daniel?
Yeah, I think so, because it will also get us exposure in that community.
Mm-hmm. Right. On the ground, you mean?
Yeah, and to the people who are funding the grants. I don't know.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that while the grant funding consultants might turn up a grant for $100, that a year later, that same person who gave the $100 might give another $100, and then they will say, "We've already worked with Give Basic Needs. We want to work with them again."
Yeah.
Got you. That's a good point.
Luke, how about you?
I think it all sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
think 150,000 views on the ads is pretty crazy.
Yeah, people like what we're doing,
That's a lot
right?
of people.
What's that?
That's a lot of people.
Right.
Right? Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's that kind of blew me away. So I'm glad for that feedback as well. Who else do we have on the call that hasn't commented? Salam, do you agree with everything, and do you agree that this is what we should be doing?
Yes, I'm equally impressed with the social media outreach, and I just have an update to provide, not regarding the grants or fundraising locally.
Okay.
Yes, but I was holding on for you to be done with your presentation, and then I'll provide the update. So if you are done, I can go ahead. But if you are not, maybe when you are done.
No, I am done, and yeah, please feel free to go ahead with what you found regarding the grant funding.
Yes. So last week I was in Accra to pick my certificates, and I took the opportunity to visit the Social Investment Fund. So the Ghana government has an organization called Social Investment Fund.
Okay.
That organization um, gets allocation from the government of Ghana and also seek funding and coordinates um, all other organizations that invest in social infrastructure, uh, social events, and other activities which are not for profit, just like we are doing.
Uh-huh.
So, as a government agency, they are basically the organization that regulates funding of social organizations in Ghana.
Okay. Okay.
And recently, the government just appointed somebody I know. He's called Abbas Nuruddin. If you Google him, you can find him. He's currently the CEO.
Okay.
So I took the opportunity to visit him to discuss what we want to do and who we were in Ghana. So apparently, Give Basic Needs is an international organization headquartered in the US.
Uh-huh.
And according to Abbas Nuruddin, the CEO of Social Investment Fund,
Uh-huh.
all international nonprofit organizations operating in Ghana are actually classified as donor foundations to
Okay.
the Ghanaian people.
Okay.
Yes, so, and all donor foundations in Ghana from outside Ghana that are operating in Ghana are only to provide support for Ghanaians and cannot raise funds within Ghana publicly. So we are, as an organization, we are not allowed to publicly solicit for support within Ghana. And if we are going to have a government agency give us support, it has to come in a form of a collaboration or a partnership, which must be led by an MOU. There must be a memorandum of understanding signed by Give Basic Needs and the supposed government agency that we are going to undertake an activity together, and the government agency is providing us XYZ resources, mainly for this particular activity. And that have to be strictly adhered to and accounted for after execution.
Right.
Yes. So we had this conversation on Wednesday, and so that was it on that part. On the part of the bank account,
I'm sorry, Salam. Before you go to the bank account, do you see this as a problem? Do you see this slowing us down, or do you see that this is just something to be aware of with regards to the memorandum of understanding and working with the government of Ghana?
Yeah, so with regards to the memorandum of understanding and working with the government of Ghana, I don't see it as a challenge. It only redirects how we operate, because it means that, for instance, we have to identify government agencies that we think they are. So most of the government agencies have corporate social responsibility towards the Ghanaian people. So and not all of them are very active. Not all of them have active CSR departments.
Okay.
So we have to identify those organizations with very active CSR departments that do the kind of things we do, and approach them, and then they may ask for proposals from us as to what we want to do together with them. And if they agree with our proposals, then we sign an MOU. See,
Okay.
Abbas actually gave me reference to, I think, UNICEF. That UNICEF just signed an MOU with the Youth Employment Agency.
Okay.
Yes, to support girl child education in Ghana.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I don't see that. The only part I see it slowing us down is our public fundraising, which has been made clear that we cannot do that because we are not a local organization.
Right. And so when you say local organization, we have office, we have a headquarter, we're not headquartered there, we're headquartered in the US. But what does that really mean to be a local organization?
So that really means that it must be a Ghanaian founded organization that is operating within Ghana. So with that, you can. It's like a group of Ghanaians coming together to set up something and look for funding within the country to support Ghanaians within the country.
I see.
Yes, coming from the US, we have an office in Ghana, all right, but the organization is found in the US.
Right.
So the intention of entering Ghana, per the understanding of government, is that Give Business is bringing some support to Ghanaians here.
Mm-hmm.
So what government can also do for Give Basic Needs is to facilitate, to collaborate, and to support our activities in either way they can support our activities for us to be able to provide support to each citizens with comfort.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot go out to solicit for support from the very people we have come in to provide support to.
I see. I see. So these, if I was looking at my picture, this would be the commission communities, or the local commission projects that you're referring to, that we would need a memorandum of understanding to work essentially as UNICEF did with the Ghana government.
Yes, yes. So these are local commission projects that will be powered by, will be supported. So, for instance, if I approach the Youth Employment Agency, the organization, Comfort, not UNICEF, the organization Comfort have approached to support girl child education. So, for instance, assuming I approach the same organization to say that, look, we've been in Ghana. Give Basic Needs is an international organization. It's been operating in Ghana for some number of years. We are providing boreholes and we are doing ABCD. And we are here to see, as an agency, if we can collaborate to provide more boreholes for Ghanaians. Then the agency will say, okay, we are interested in supporting you provide more boreholes for Ghanaians. So what is your proposal? Where do you want to sink these boreholes? How much does a borehole cost to sink? So we provide the proposal. They go through it. They are okay with it. They invite us and we sign a memorandum of understanding. They give us the resources they can.
Right. Okay. And just to be clear, is this Ghana Local Commission projects? Does that describe what it is you're describing, or should I use different words?
Yes, so that is okay. That describes it.
Okay.
That describes it. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that communication-wise that we're talking about the same thing on the picture, because that'll be referred to, and so that memorandum of understanding and all of that would fall under the grant and funding coordinator to create the MOU, the memorandum of understanding, and to make sure that everybody was on the same page with expectations and communication.
Yes.
Okay, great. And so, so that's good, because that means that those dollars are essentially available to us as well, so long as we continue to execute.
Yes. So the grants coordinator, or whatever, I don't know, so the grant coordinator, let me use that phrase for now.
Okay. Yeah.
So we will have a responsibility of reaching out to these authorities and agencies, identifying what area, because not all of them support the same thing. So, for instance, the oil and gas sector in Ghana would be more interested in providing support to areas where we drill oil, or provide some support to, for instance, the mining sector will be interested in providing clean water to communities where they mine. So if you are, depending on the organization you are approaching and what they are into, if it aligns with what we do, then we can begin to have a conversation around what we want to do. You might approach one organization that would say, yes, for instance, Get Fund. Get Fund is Ghana Education Fund. So if you approach Ghana Education Fund, for instance, they may be interested in collaborating with you or having a memorandum of understanding to put up a 2 or 3 unit classroom block, but not providing support for you to go and do health screening.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that will come from another organization within the government, essentially.
Exactly.
And so just to be clear, the finding of these locally commissioned projects doesn't fall under the grant funding consultants on this picture, correct?
The what?
Sorry. So the global grant funding consultants
Yes.
Those people do not seek funds from these local commission projects. That would be up to us to do.
Yes. They don't.
Okay, so two
That is
different
outside
groups.
their
Okay.
reach. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I think that
Yeah.
I would you say that based on what you learned, we have them in the proper priority is to work with the grant funding consultants first and then look to locally commissioned projects?
Yeah. So I think yeah, we can look at the global grant funding consultants first. I
Uh-huh.
actually met with them as well on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
I met with my friend, and we had a great conversation. And he equally said the same thing that I was told from the Social Investment Fund. And he said that since the organization is a US based or founded organization, let me put
Mm-hmm.
it, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Yes. So you or the organization in the US can look out for grants that are available to the organization depending on. So he mentioned that the US apparently he knows because it is his work. He knows m- much better than me about non-profit organizations in the US. He said they are classified, and
Uh-huh.
depending on our classification, some grants we may qualify, some grants we may not.
I see.
Yes. So
So
when we
our
are
class
ready.
so our classification
Mhm.
is a private operating foundation,
Okay.
and we are also a 501c3.
Okay. Yes. So he
If
said
that
that.
helps you going forward.
Yes, that helps. I'll actually mention that to him.
Uh-huh.
I will mention that to him. So
Oh,
they would, when we are ready, they would have conversations with us. Apparently, with the presido, get to understand the organization better,
mm-hmm.
and we could, since we are not employing them full time, we could both look out for grants that are available to us, regardless of any part of the world that those grants are.
Uh-huh.
They will come in and provide their expertise and make sure that we win those grants. And when we win those grants, they just get paid.
Okay.
And yes. And he also mentioned, just like Danny was saying, that usually the difficulty is in winning your first grant. When you
Ah.
win your first grant as an organization, other grants issuers will get to know about you.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes they give recommendations. So, for instance, if we were to win a grant from an organization in the UK
Uh-huh.
for maybe health events in Ghana,
Uh-huh.
and then we do well to execute the grants and the project very well,
Mm-hmm.
the next time another organization in the UK is offering grants for maybe health or water, the one that we won the grant first would easily recommend to us
Mm-hmm.
to write for that particular grant as well, because
Right.
those organizations are very big and they also collaborate.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good information, Salam. Excellent work on the ground.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think one thing just to touch base on this picture that I thought before we go, I know we're running way over, but is that we need to realize, and we need people on the ground to realize that we won't only, when this is implemented within the next, let's say, 8 to 12 months, or maybe sooner, but when this is implemented, we will continue to do random community giving, but we will also have commissioned and grant communities. And that's why I drew them over here, is because Megan and Ben and yourself, Salam, and the Presidio, everybody will need to make sure that they clearly differentiate between these. Because if we have someone, it will look like we are more choosing where to work, as if we don't explain that it's part of a grant. We will look less random and more based on whatever the grant. We know we're going to do whatever the grantor wants done in whatever communities. So we will look less random, and that will be important because we'll still do random giving events as we do today. Do you agree with that, Salam?
Yes, I agree. And I think that in most cases, the grant still allows the organization to be random because maybe the closest we might go is to say we need the grant to build boreholes, let's say in the Upper East region of Ghana. But the grant will not ask us to give specific communities. And so that still allows us to go to Upper East region and randomly select which communities we want to put the boreholes in, because the grant issuer is also trusting us and our ability to provide the need to the best people who really need those support.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. That's really good. I didn't know that. I thought they would give a list of the exact places that they wanted them, and then they would say, go do it. But if they give us that flexibility, that's very nice.
Yeah, I was concerned too with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we have had an excellent meeting and great work again, Salam, everyone, Benny, Megan, the whole team, Danny and Luke, everyone.
Really quick, if we can just get an update, Salam, on the borehole projects 58, 59, and 60.
Yeah, so I'm done with fixing of all hand pumps. Yes, I think within the week, towards weekend, Ben will also decide on which day, then we can just go around together and commission them.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Great work, Salam. And then I guess the other thing was regarding the bank account, the CD bank account.
Yes.
Did you make any progress on that?
Yes. So apparently, just like this regulation that I wasn't aware of, the Registrar General is also undertaking reforms, and we are supposed to apply for a new certificate. They are issuing a new certificate. So first in Ghana, we used to have a certificate of incorporation and a certificate to commence business as a non-profit or a profit entity. Now they are consolidating it all together and just issuing one certificate. And while those certificates used to be some red certificates, now they are blue and white. So we no longer need a certificate of incorporation and certificate to commence business. We just need one certificate of incorporation. So I have applied for the certificates to be renewed because they've instructed all banks to begin to regularize those certificates. Yes, so in a week or two, we should have the new certificates, which I will share, and then use that to secure the bank account.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great work. And let us know how we can support you if you need it.
Thank you. I will.
Yes.
All right. That's all that I have on my agenda. Do you have anything
No,
else?
I don't have anything more.
Okay. Luke, do you have anything?
No, I'm all good.
Okay, Ben?
No, nothing. Yeah.
Perfect. Salam, anything else?
No.
Okay.
I've said it all.
Danny or Megan?
No.
Okay, perfect. All
Great.
right. Thank you all again for a great meeting. Sorry we ran over a bit. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the videos and pictures of the event today. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for all your hard work. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.